Hello, BookTube. We continue on with the shelf tour of the third bookcase. This is the fourth shelf, the first part of that shelf. Again, it's maritime history, that sort of thing. So here we go. The first book is The Coast of Summer, Sailing New England Waters from Shelter Island to Cape Cod by Anthony Bailey. This is Michael DiCaprio Books, HarperCollins Publishers, and it's a first edition, and it is from 1994. Mr. Bailey's done quite a few books, as you can see. And this is The New England Coast, a small cruising sloop, warm winds, and Anthony Bailey's seductive storytelling powers. The Lochinvar sails the waters between eastern Long Island and the tip of Cape Cod, poking into deep harbors and shallow ponds, anchoring off fashionable resorts and in remote coves, encountering the rough and the smooth, and exploring, as in Bailey's way, the present life of the coast while keeping a perceptive eye on the past. And then the next one here, another sailor's memoir type of thing, William F. Buckley Jr., Racing Through Paradise, A Pacific Passage, with photographs by Christopher Little. Oh, nice end papers on this one. Let's see, Random House, New York, first edition, 1987. And there are photographs throughout, like they say. This is the third entry in Bill Buckley's now classic sailing trilogy. The first was Airborne, and the other is Atlantic High. I don't have either of the other two. Maybe I need to fill out this set. This next thing as well, it doesn't have a dust jacket. Voyage, Voyages to Paradise, exploring the wake of Captain Cook, National Geographic Society. You get a subscription to these little books. I always love looking at them. So by William R. Gray, photographed by Gordon W. Gahan, prepared by Special Publications Division of the National Geographic Society. Not enough, you a lot of times look in the back for publication information. Let's see where they have it on there. You never can tell. Oh, this time I'm wrong, it's on the front. 1981. So they follow in the wake of Captain Cook in the Pacific. The usual National Geographic type thing, but I don't have any of these left, but I always enjoyed them. This next book, Navies of the American Revolution, it's a Prentice Hall production by Anthony Preston, David Lyon, and John H. Batchelor. Prentice Hall Incorporated, Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, and it's first American edition, 1975. It was Prentice Hall, and then in 75 by Bison Books Limited. This is another one of those reference books I used because I read a lot of nautical fiction, so some of the older stuff I'll bring in here. Descriptions of the sailor's life, and equipment, and all that sort of thing. Hand you a little book. This next one here is, and I don't know how big this series was. I've only ever seen this one, A History of Discovery and Exploration, Easter Islands and Southern Seas. Again, no dust jacket. Who knows where I picked it up. Really well illustrated. Aldous Books, Jupiter Books, London. First published in 1973, but the copyright 71, so I don't know what the story on that is. But I think it was obviously a multi-volume work. It is what it says it is, a history of discovery and exploration, this specific geographical location. Then stuck on the shelf in between books, I forgot it was even there, the National Maritime Historical Society, summer 2014, Sea History, the Art, Literature, Adventure, Lore, and Learning of the Sea. I think I picked this up at the a museum on the coast of Maine. So I remember enjoying it, but I'd forgotten all about it until I just went to do this shelf tour. This here is The Sea Remembers, Shipwrecks and Archaeology, edited by Peter Throckmorton, who was quite big in the old nautical archaeology world. From Homer's Greece to the rediscovery of the Titanic, Weidenfeld and Nicholson, New York. Has a list of contributors and where they teach, which is always nice in a work like this. I don't really see a copyright date. Give you an idea. Always fun to read. The next thing I have is Old Ironside, The Rise, Decline, and Resurrection of the USS Constitution. It's the 200th anniversary edition. Thomas C. Gilmer with illustrations by William Gilkerson. I have a special connection with Old Ironsides. Oh, there's a whole postcard in there. Oh, USS Constitution and Bunker Hill Monument. That's pretty neat. Where I was stationed in the Coast Guard on a ship, and we could see the Constitution from where we were at. And in the morning or in the evening, they would fire their cannons, and I'd stand out there with a bosun pipe if it was my day and do colors. You just whistle. It's a bosun's whistle, bosun's pipe. And so I always felt special fondness, and I went over and toured it and all that more than once. Good drawings here, so nice little history. Details. I actually got a knife that's Buck knives put out years ago. That the sides of the knife are wood from the restoration process, and then that copper rivet or something in the middle of it. I'll show it sometime. Next, here we have the Endurance, Shackleton's Incredible Voyage to the Antarctic by Alfred Lansing. There's Shackleton himself. On December 1914, Sir Ernest Shackleton and a crew of 27 men set sail from South Georgia for the South Pole on board the Endurance. The object of the expedition was to cross the Antarctic overland. A month later, the ship was beset in ice in the Weddell Sea, just outside the Arctic Circle, frozen like an almond in the middle of a chocolate bar. Here's a guy out taking pictures of it. That's pretty neat. This edition is Carroll and Graf Publishers, an imprint of Avalon Publishing Group, New York. And members of the Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition. Gives a list of them and image a picture of them. And then the ship, the ice destroyed the ship, and then the rest of the story is Shackleton leading his group to survival. Okay, so the next book, A History of Seamanship by Douglas Phillips Burt. This is a good book. I like going through this one. Doubleday and Company Incorporated, Garden City, New York, 1971. So this goes from the very earliest times. And it's a history of seamanship itself. That's an astrolabe. I don't know how easy it would be to find this book again. Shore-based lifeboats of this type represent the most advanced achievement yet in producing the ultimate seaworthiness in craft of small size. This is an Oakley lifeboat. And of course my background was operating lifeboats. So I don't even... I don't know if they have... And back in the days when there were light ships, it's all been automated now, I actually spent an evening out on the Nantucket lightship. I wasn't stationed aboard it. So, it was a long time ago. Okay, and then the Keep It Simple series, KISS Guide to Sailing, DK book. Steve Slight, forward by Dennis Conner, famous America's Cup champion. A Dorley Kindersley book. Let's see, 2001. Well, you can get a good idea what it's like. It's all the basics, some advanced stuff, safety stuff, small boat skills. Good little guide, actually. Easy on the eyes, easy to comprehend. Here's another book about the American Revolution. Ships and Seamen of the American Revolution. Vessels, crews, weapons, gears, naval tactics, and actions of the War for Independence. Written and illustrated by Jack Coggins. Old, somewhat the worse for wear. Stackpole book is $12.95 when it came out, which was actually, back in the day, a few bucks. 1969. Silhouettes of some ship types. So a good guide to Nautical, part of the American Revolution. This here is a classic. Has the word classic in the title. Building Classic Small Craft by John Gardner. So those of you who are into wooden boats. And this, 1977 by International Marine Publishing Company, which we've mentioned them before. Camden, Maine. For a pea pod, Maine pea pod. Salmon wherry. So if you're into, the cover gives a good idea, building wooden craft or watching wooden craft that have been built. Nice book. And this last one of the first half of that shelf is an Alexander Lang. He did a lot of seafaring stuff. Seafaring America. It's an American Heritage book. Let's see. So the editor was Joseph J. Thorndike. The author was Alexander Lang. Published by American Heritage Publishing Company, Incorporated in New York. Book trade distribution by McGraw-Hill Book Company. And this one was 1974. And it's a history of American seafaring of all types. So, very nice book. So that's the first half of the fourth shelf of the third bookcase. Thank you, YouTube.